So this is a Precision Nuwave 2 induction cooktop, and for some reason it's acting up. The fan has been kind of rattly for a while, mostly when it's cold. But I thought it'd be interesting to take it apart and see what's going on. It's throwing an error 1 because it can't detect my cast iron skillet, but it's also making a weird clicking sound. Tried power cycling it. I tried cleaning the pan and the thing a little better. As you can tell, it's quite dirty. But it just doesn't want to cooperate. So it is what it is. Either it's bad or something just needs a little persuasion. Also, some of the buttons were starting to go bad, which is a bit of a bummer. I have my butane cooktop I can fall back on, but I don't like that quite as much because then I have to buy butane. And on top of that, one thing I found that's really nice about this induction cooktop is it doesn't get the cast iron pan so hot that you need a glove to touch it or look at it. Although that also does mean that this doesn't get the pan hot enough to sear stuff real easily. But yeah. Aww. So there's a mixture of security and Phillips head screws. We're going to start with going for the Phillips head screws. The cook surface is tempered glass to the best of my knowledge. So ideally we don't want to break that. I don't really want tempered glass all over my table. Not that I can't just, wipe it off and magnetize my screwdriver. Oh boy. There we go. These are coarse threaded screws for screwing directly into plastic standoffs. I don't know what this housing's made out of. It doesn't seem like it's ABS. There's some markings here, but I can't tell what that says. Oh. I'll just dump it out. Looks like there's 4 screws around the cook area. And they got these weird triangle screws, which I don't know if I have the right bit for. I might have to check my security bit kit, because I don't want to ruin a flathead screw trying to get those out. These are in pretty tight. They really cut nicely into the plastic. I was going to use my drill, but I'm missing my drill, so... Should be 4 screws. There we go. Now, if those screws are out, I'm curious. No. Okay, yeah. So they were jerks. We gotta get these 3 weird screws out. Little triangle. Ooh, I got 1 triangle bit with my Harbor Freight screwdriver kit. Is it the right size? I don't know. Oh, look at that. Talk about lucky. Based on everything I've seen so far, I have reason to believe that the bottom will come off and everything will stay attached to the top. I really don't want to seem blown up or burnt in here, but at least it gives me closure on why it's not working. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Not what I was expecting. It's induction, so it doesn't need to make contact, but I just assumed that the coils were like glued to the glass top, but they're not. Just figure this out here. Oh. They don't really give you any slack. Don't imagine they intended people to service these though. don't understand what this is. But, so this is the induction coil. Just a big copper winding. I think they send high voltage DC through it to do what it does. Oh wow, that's interesting. Power leads are just screwed down terminals. So I do want to do something with this fan. I think though I'm going to remove the induction coil real quick. Just eyeballing things. So I got two connections here for the coil itself. I wonder if this is how it senses whether there's a pan there or not. I don't think this is capable of storing a charge. I probably should be more careful than I am being. I need to magnetize my screwdriver a little better. Oops. Or that's potentially a stainless steel screw. Yeah, it won't see the pan and just goes click, click, click basically, and I don't know. I need to fix the fan one way or another because I don't want it to break. Oop. Didn't want to let that go falling, but it's okay. So, gonna lift this out. Oopsies. Oh. Huh. Well, that's annoying. Huh. Yeah, I'm not removing that. It's soldered and glued in place. Huh. Well, bummer. I can at least push it out of the way for now. We'll reclaim these screws. So take a little eyeball. Huh. Yeah, I can't see anything under the heatsink. I don't know what the clicking sound was. 600 volts AC. Oh, it's a capacitor. 30 kilohertz. High frequency capacitor. Look at that one there. I would move this. I guess I can just move the camera. I don't know why I'm acting like the camera's stuck in place. There's some capacitors related to the output for the induction coil. So annoyingly, everything's like permanently wired in place. These aren't connectors. I wonder how they assemble this. What a dumb design. Like, I'm sure that they don't really want people fixing these things, but doesn't mean you should at least make it repairable. I don't know. I don't want to forget where these go. I'm gonna put these at the screw. Coil must run at a high voltage. There's some isolation slots and stuff. Might not be DC for all I know. So here's the fan. I feel a little indexing on the bearing, but otherwise, I think I might just leave it here as is. Sweet, it is serviceable. Even though it's not probably meant to be serviced. I'm going to screw this back down now. So in the summer, the oil or grease that's in the fan is still loose enough to spin freely and not rattle. But in the winter it gets cold and it rattles and grinds. And this is the stuff I usually use on fans. No, I don't have any complaints. I don't think I'm going to run out anytime soon. Just going to put a little drop in there and give it a little twirl. Honestly, I'll probably lose the bottle before I use it all up. That'll be how it ends up playing out. That's how I'm tilting it, but it's hard to show. And basically the oil level's like right there in relation to the bottle when it's upright. Oh, actually no, it's not even. It's like right there. Yeah. So, anywho, at least the fan's easy enough to oil, I suppose. I'm going to put the sticker back on. The little rubber piece for the back of the motor is stuck to the sticker, so I'm just going to leave that be. Like so. And while I'm in here, I'm going to hit this with some rubbing alcohol. Now that white stuff in the middle of the induction coil, I think there's a thermal probe in there along with maybe a Hall effect sensor to determine if there's something ferrous near it. But I'm not 100% certain. Dirty. Inside is probably pretty dirty as well. Not too bad. Alrighty, well, I have to be careful here. Get that back in place. It almost looks like there's some corrosion on the contact. I don't really have anything good to clean that with. I don't know if I should be using deoxit on it. I don't think deoxit's meant for high voltage stuff, at least. I don't even know what the voltage output of this would be. Be interesting to know. It's probably something I could Google, but not while I'm recording. Alright, I thought I'd stick a little lock washer in there too. I don't want to lose that inside the unit. Oh, okay. Just a piece of epoxy that's supposed to be there. Make sure that's down nice and tight. Now, obviously, me doing this, if it fixes the error, that doesn't necessarily mean I did something to fix it. It just means that the error decided to go away. Because basically all I've done is take this apart and mess with the fan. What I might do is before I screw it together, I'll grab my pan, throw it on top, and see if it'll fire up for me. I don't know what that clicking sound was though that it was making. Alright. So, I'll carefully flip this back over, like so. Ideally I screw it back down, but I'm not going to. Let's see if I can get this clean. Interestingly enough, glass cleaner seems to work really good on this considering it's glass. So, I'm gonna go grab a pan. Alright, it's plugged in. I need to turn on the power just to plug. And it's on. So, we're gonna set the medium high. I have a little bit of water in here just so you can see where the coil is if it works. Yeah, we're still error 1. you hear it. I don't know. It's probably not picked up in the mic. I'll be quiet here in a second, but you hear it just like pop, clicking, whatever. I don't know what's going on though. It'll let you cancel. It just died out of the blue though, unfortunately. I hear the fan trying to spin up. I don't know how dangerous these things are. Let's kill power. Yeah, it's just probably water from the bottom of the pan. So, obviously, you don't want to touch the nasty line endpoints. So these spots over here, that's where the line's coming in. Obviously you don't want to touch those. Really, you shouldn't be trying to run the thing with cover off. But I'm a glutton for punishment. What could go wrong? Famous last words. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this somewhat sideways. No, I think I'm going to lay it flat. I need to be able to hit the button. Alright, so this is the button right here. Turn it on. And it spins the fan. Not that that really does me any good. Gotta be mindful where my fingers go. I hear an electrical buzzing. Something's going click, click. Nothing sparking or glowing. Huh. I think it's just died. Unfortunately. I don't know. Power's off as of now. I'm not gonna put my fingers where they don't belong. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That means I need a new cooktop. I like this thing. Does mean I can get a better one now, though. This one worked well. It just didn't get hot enough to. You could put the cast iron skillet on there with like frozen meat or whatever, and it would take forever to get hot enough to actually cook it. But yeah, I don't know. That's quite the bummer. Error 1, as far as I know, means no pan. But this thing's been kind of acting wonky in other ways too. Sometimes I'd hit a button and then do like something that one of the other buttons does. But yeah, it's apparently dead. So that's really unfortunate. But at least you got to see inside and I guess see how to oil the fan. So either way, hopefully that was interesting and thanks for watching.